So the next technique, similar to what we saw earlier, was let's just run delve as part of the PID1 within the container and just do remote debugging. So this presents a lot of like really great things. So it's really good for staging environments. You can do this by default, and then if there's ever a bug in your staging environment, you can just jump right in. You don't have to jump through any hoops. It's similar to the previous example using only containers, but this time we're using it with Kubernetes as the container orchestrator. And another cool thing about this approach is we can use kubectl to expose the delve remote port locally for some more secure remote debugging. So by default, delve, when it connects to a remote headless delve server, it doesn't use any like, there's no encryption or anything like that over the connection. It's just an open connection, with the idea being like delve shouldn't really be responsible for that aspect of it. You know, you can use like an SSH tunnel or something like that to actually secure communications with what you're trying to debug. But using kubectl kind of takes care of this for us, as we'll see. So let's see how that looks. So let's deploy another service. So this is, we just call it service with delve. So this is similar to the other service that we had, except for it's using a different container image that is basically this, right? So it starts with delve. And there's already a mistake here. Let's just go ahead, since we already went over this. It's missing these capabilities. So let's just add them in and then redeploy. So you can see like the pods that we originally deployed, they're in a crash loop backoff because when we originally deployed it was missing the ptrace capability. So since it's starting with delve, it's just kind of sitting there spinning and crashing. So if you try to do this, if you try to use this approach, and you see like this kind of crash loop backoff happening, that's why. It's just you need to add that capability in there so that you can actually start the pod. So let's just, while it's trying to figure this out, let's help it a little bit. Let's just get rid of this service altogether and redeploy it. Okay. Okay, so now we see we have all of these new deployments running. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is actually expose the access to the delve server. So what we want to do is we want to port forward from our pod, the pod that the delve server is exposed on, so that we can connect to it locally and start debugging. So kubectl has a way to do this very easily. So we just say kubectl port forward, and if you remember, we put our service on 9090. So we specify our pod, and then we say 9090 to 9090, right? And then here again, just like before, we connect. And then now we have a debug session running, and this is, so we're actually debugging the process that's running in a Kubernetes cluster within GKE, totally remote, using a secure connection. So this is the easiest way to get going debugging. And like I said, this is more ideal for like when you have a staging environment or something like that. You wouldn't do this in production. It's just a really bad idea. You're kind of exposing a lot of power if anybody ever compromises your production system. But for staging or anything like that, or local development, this is a really, really great technique to be able to do really quick like drop-in debugging.